Hello and welcome to Toasty's 2 Cents, the series where I play games off camera and then review them in a video. Today we're talking about Borderlands, the pre-sequel, a pretty controversial one in the Borderlands community. A lot of people don't like it, a lot of people really like it, and I'm here to weigh in with my opinion, because I have now played it to completion. Just to give you the quick background knowledge, I've played Borderlands 1, 2, and 3, and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and actually reviewed Borderlands 2 on the channel recently in a video. So I still have a lot of Borderlands like fresh in my mind, because I've played all those games at least somewhat recently, so I didn't really have any expectations going into this one. I kind of just played it because, you know, I really love Borderlands, and it's a Borderlands game, so, you know, I thought, what could go wrong? I'd say it was fine, and as a game standalone, it definitely holds up. However, it pales in comparison to the main installments in the game, and even to Tiny Tina's. I found Tiny Tina's to be a lot better than this one, actually. So let's get into the pros and cons and all of that good stuff. Starting off with the pros, this is probably the biggest compliment I could possibly give this game: laser weapons. Holy shit, I love the laser weapons. My favorites are the ones that are like 10 fire rate, and you can like basically put like a straight beam of like laser and just absolutely mow down enemies with it with a giant laser beam. I think that is so fucking cool. The ones where it's not a continuous beam and it's just like, you know, shooting laser bullets like a Star Wars Stormtrooper blaster, those ones I don't like as much. I think they're fine. The ones that are like a straight beam and it's like continuous, it doesn't stop. Dude, I love those fucking things. They're so awesome. It's something that, honestly, if you put those in the other Borderlands games, I would probably main those weapons there too. I normally main SMGs in the Borderlands games, but I mained laser weapons in this one because I just had a grand old time with them. It's really cool. It makes sense given the whole theming of everything, and I just thought that was an awesome fucking weapon, like the laser type. And then they could have like the different elemental like things added to them to make them different colors and all that. So awesome. So awesome, chef's kiss. Best thing about this game is the laser weapons. Also gotta give them props for like the O2 mechanics, or the Oz mechanics, I don't know what you call it. I call it O2s. The O2 mechanics with like, you know, you gotta get oxygen or you'll die, but you don't die too quickly if you run out as long as you have a bit of health. I think they did it pretty well, and I think it does kind of add something interesting to the game, you know? I think that the spin-off games are a good opportunity for them to do like more out there ideas that they definitely wouldn't pull in like the main installments. And I think the O2 canisters are a really cool like addition. That whole system is a cool little thing to like shake it up. You know, it's a cool twist on the thing we already know. What I would be looking for in a spin-off like this is them taking like the established Borderlands like formula and then putting a special like flavor into it, a good spin on it, without making it too different from like its roots. And I think this game actually did accomplish that pretty well, and a good example is with the O2 system and how that works. And tying into that, the low gravity, I had a hard time deciding whether or not I liked the low gravity, because like it's kind of, you have to get used to like navigating in low gravity and like being able to jump super high, and then like, you know, it just feels very different. I've decided I don't love it, but I don't hate it, but at the very least I can respect it for being something new that I think adds something of value to the spin-off. The fact that there is low gravity, and that makes it, again, makes it different from Borderlands. It makes it different from the other Borderlands games without being too much of a difference. You know, it's just a little thing to make a fun twist, and I like that. Another thing that's like kind of unrelated, there's the fix loaders that you eventually are able to program to be like ones that are like gun loaders and like XP loaders that'll like attack with you. And I think that's a cool idea, that you can find those loaders and then interact with them and then turn them into like an ally. I think that concept is cool. Now, granted, those things are more useless than me when my chronic anxiety kicks in, but still, I mean, I appreciate the effort, okay? They get an A for effort for just coming up with that idea, because I do like it. But in the grand scheme of things, your gun is going to be 50 times more powerful than those things, and they're not going to make much of a difference. I mean, maybe they'll pick off like half of the health of one enemy for you while you're busy fighting someone else. Maybe, if you're lucky, I don't know. It doesn't do much, but it does something, okay? I appreciate that they tried, because I do really like the idea of it. It's just it wasn't executed that well because it's not that useful, but it also can't be too overpowered, so like I don't really know. One more compliment I will give this game before I start complaining: the ending and the final boss, which I just did a few hours ago, I actually really liked. I don't know. I thought the final boss was just kind of hype and pretty exciting. Maybe not in comparison to the other bosses in the different games. It's fine. I think it holds up even against those other ones. I think it was a fun fight. Not too hard, not too easy. Had me on the edge of my seat. Liked it. The ending and everything I thought was pretty interesting too. I think from a storyline perspective, you know, it didn't add, it's kind of filler, you know, it's like a filler arc of an anime almost. It doesn't matter, but it's still enjoyable just to sit back, relax, you know, not take it too seriously and just kind of see what plays out. I think it does give a pretty interesting backstory to the events of Borderlands 2, which I still think is the best game in the franchise. So now time to complain with the cons. You know me, I love to complain about shit that doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm not gonna go into detail about this because I mentioned it last time, but for whatever reason in the Borderlands 2 game, and in this one as well, the cursor wouldn't lock into my game, so it kept flying off of my screen because I'm constantly playing in windowed mode and not full screen, so like my cursor kept leaving the screen. That was kind of annoying. That's just I'm not even gonna go into detail on that because I've already talked about it. I think that there were too many, like, opportunities to fall off the map and die. A lot of cracks in like the surface of the moon that you're on, like lava or whatever the hell, even ice in some situations. It was too easy to just fall in there and not be able to get out. I don't know, it just pissed me off. A lot of these things I'm going to complain about basically boil down to me having a skill issue, and I'll admit that. I do have a skill issue, kind of, okay? I'm not like a superstar in gaming, but I just found it really annoying. I probably died at least 50 times to just falling in a ravine and getting burned to death or something by lava or whatever the hell I fell in. I don't know, that was really annoying. There were times where I just keep falling in. I can't fucking jump over the crevice or whatever with my vehicle. I keep failing. Okay, so the low gravity I mentioned, I think it's fine, but it does have its downsides. For example, with items, it makes it so fucking hard to loot. Okay, either you'll open like a freaking chest and all the bullets will just fly out of it into the sky and you can't catch them, or a fucking weapon. A weapon will drop from an enemy and it'll just fucking bounce off into the sunset and you'll never hear from it again. It just gets sent straight to the fucking Shadow Realm. It's gone, you know, the weapon is gone. It flies off the map, it goes wherever it wants to go, and because of low gravity, you can't do anything about it. It just flies off so easily, and it's so chaotic. Like, the loot will just fly everywhere after killing enemies, and it's a lot of the time, and it's just a pain in the ass. It makes it really hard to just loot. I mean, the game is a looter shooter. You gotta be able to loot and you gotta be able to shoot, and both of them should be really convenient, but the looting part was a lot harder because of the low gravity being applied to those items in the low gravity situations, so that was a massive pain, and I think it is a very serious problem with this game, is that in a lot of situations, it was just really fucking hard to loot. The Stingray vehicle, I don't know why, I didn't really like it. It wasn't, like, easy to fly. Maybe it's because it couldn't fly too high, and I was kind of hoping to go, like, off into the sunset with it, you know, like, just fly and, like, go on, like, an actual, like, into the sky, you know, I don't know. But it couldn't go more than like a few inches off the ground, and I thought that was really annoying and just kind of unsatisfying to not be able to take that thing and fly very high up. And it was just kind of hard to drive. I never wanted to use that over the normal moon buggy, because the moon buggy is just better in every way. The Stingray has nothing good to offer. It's just a worse vehicle, and it doesn't really do much, honestly, like, other than just be annoying. Having multiple vehicles is good if both vehicles, like, serve a purpose. The moon buggy is just better than the Stingray in every way, and they both do the same fucking thing, so, like, why would I use the Stingray? Another thing that makes looting harder, which is a big problem, the O2 canisters are the same color as a rare item, which is like that dark blue. Why? Why in tarnation is it blue? The same shade of blue. What is it, the Moonstones, I think is what they're called? They have a special shade of blue, so you can, like, instantly recognize them, because they're highlighted in a different color of blue, so you don't mistake them for, like, a weapon, or a grenade, or a shield, or whatever the hell, all the other loot. The O2 canisters should have something like that to differentiate them from the other loot in the game, so it makes it easier, because if you don't need O2, you're not going to run halfway across the map looking for O2 that's fallen on the ground, you know, but you can't tell if it's like a rare item or if it's O2 if you just look at it. A lot of these items are really hard to see, and you rely on, like, the highlight to tell you what rarity it is, and if the highlight for the O2 canisters is the same as a rare item, that's a big deal, and it makes it annoying, because you never know, oh, is this like a rare item that I might want, or is it just an O2 canister that I don't need because my O2 is full? You know, that's very annoying. Like, just make it a different color. Just make it the same color as the Moonstone. It's not that fucking hard. I mean, I feel like you could just do that. That works. You know, just make it a different color. Even the money is like golden yellow. Like that, they've done it before, but for whatever reason, for this specific thing, they decided to make it annoying. They've proven that they know how to make it not annoying, and they just chose to make it annoying. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. This is something I gotta bring up because, I don't know, I'll always bring it up if I notice it. They committed one of the 7 deadly sins of gaming. Escort. They had escort missions in this game. Granted, they were unimportant side quests that you didn't have to do with the escort missions, but I'm the kind of person with the Borderlands games, I like to do all the side quests that I can find, and there were a couple escort missions, and anytime that exists, whether or not it's mandatory or not, I think that's just fucking super sucks. Escort missions are just, they're just not fun. They're just not fun. I'm sorry. If you find them fun, I'm not hating or anything, but you are fucking crazy, because goddamn, those things suck. I just don't like escort missions, alright? I just don't like them. I'll be fair, it's not that big of a deal because you can easily skip it, but it pisses me off, okay? It matters to me. Okay, last thing I have to say, in the cons, I should preface this by reminding everybody that I have the navigation skills of Zoro in One Piece when it comes to, like, navigating in video games. I can't navigate for shit. I can't read the maps. I don't know where I'm going. I always get lost. But I found it really hard to navigate the maps in this game specifically. I've always had, like, somewhat of a hard time with the Borderlands games when it comes to navigating, but not that severe. I feel like I struggled the most with navigation in this game over all the other ones. The other Borderlands games I got by for the most part, but this one was especially hard to navigate all the maps and stuff. I don't know what it was about oh Jesus. I don't know what it was about it, but it was just really hard to navigate for me. So yeah, overall, I think that it was worth playing as, like, a big Borderlands fan, but, I mean, if you don't feel like you need to play every game in the franchise, I'd say this is very skippable, to be completely honest. Unless you're, like, a super fan, you really love the Borderlands games, and you want as much of it as possible, you want something new in the same, like, franchise, I'd say absolutely play it. It is Borderlands, and it will kind of scratch that itch for more Borderlands content. If you've played all the main games and you just want more, it'll do that for you. It's more Borderlands and it's fun. However, it pales in comparison to the other games in the franchise. It's not nearly as good for many reasons. It has a lot of flaws that don't exist in the main ones. So unless you're like a super fan of the Borderlands games and you just want more and more, I wouldn't say this is a must play or anything. It's only a must-play if you just really want to play more Borderlands and you've already played everything else. This is the 5th Borderlands game I've played through and beat now, and I'd say it is the worst out of the 5. I would pick any of the other 4 that I've played over this one, honestly. But, you know, as someone who really loves Borderlands, I did have fun with it, you know? It's a pretty solid game. It's good, not great. It was definitely worth playing. I don't regret playing it at all. I thought it was pretty fun and enjoyable. If I had to rate this game, I would probably give it like a 74, because, I mean, it holds up on its own. I mean, it's a good game, but when you compare it to the other Borderlands games, it's just so much worse compared to the other ones. But I mean, on its own, it stands on its own 2 feet. You just can't compare it to the others. The other games are just that much better. Again, worth playing if you really love Borderlands. If you don't feel like you need to play every game in the franchise, I'd say skippable, absolutely. Still overall a pretty fun experience, and I had a good time with it. Well, that's Toasty's 2 cents. Like, subscribe, and keep vibing.